If this is the last video we are having together, I want you to know I was just a man who lived trying his best to speak the truth in a world full of monsters who are ready to eat raw those who carry the truth. Welcome to Cameroon Wahala. I brought in a friend to share some worries on the streets because people are grumbling with Paul Biya, who have now gone 65 days plus, and they are questioning themselves for how long should we reserve our anxiousness to prayer instead of questioning those who are living on state budgets. It's Cyril the man. Welcome.
Before we roll on, Solar Fight, one business, one system, one view. Whether you run a shop, a pharmacy, a restaurant, a distribution company, a manufacturing business, an NGO, or a professional service firm, your business has the same fundamental problem. You need to know what is happening on ground. How much are you making? How much are you really making, selling? Who owes you? Where is your money going to? What's happening in your stock? Are your expenses under control? And when it comes to accounting, you need more than generic software. You need accounting that understands OADA. SolarFight is built around the OADA accounting framework, connecting your daily business transactions to your accounting and financial reporting. From sales and invoicing to purchases and inventory, cash and banking, bank reconciliation expenses, payroll, and financial reporting. Your business information works together in one platform. And now you can interact with your business information using AI. Ask in English or French, how did you perform this month? Who owes you money? What are your best-selling products? Get the information you need to make better decisions. Whether you are an entrepreneur, checking your business from your phone at the comfort of your home or even abroad, an accountant managing books, or a CEO demanding visibility and control, SolarFight is built for you. SolarFight, OADA accounting, business management, intelligent insights. One platform for running your business better. Visit solarfightonline.com for more details.
Hello, Ferdinand.
Yes, sir. Thank you. And I'm excited to be here today. And we'll be in Cameroon Wahala on the front channel. We'll have a lot to discuss today. And our interest is on the recent issues that are plaguing the country. Yes. So I want to get some updates and clarification from you, like a person who has been following this channel, and this has been a source of our news. So I have some few questions, and I'll start with the first question. One of the issues that Cameroonians are around the place are like somebody came to CRTV with a fake presidential decree saying I'm now the vice president for a newly appointed or created position in Cameroon where it's never there.
Right.
This has become a complete fiasco, and some people say it is an allegation. As somebody who is versed with the political situation in Cameroon, the good, the bad, the ugly of it, what is, in your view, the actual established fact? And at this point, what remains allegation or speculation?
Let me start with the last part of your question. What remains an allegation is the fact that this young man has been sent to prison. Have they shown any proof that he's going to prison? It only came as news. No image, no documentary, nothing. So, it's as good as those who believe in it. So for me, that is where the allegation falls. But let me rewind the tapes. It was around the month of June, May to June, just after the parliament sat and voted this bill into law, modifying our constitution, creating a position of vice president, and the mass rush that manned this process is what caught people's attention, both nationally and international. People were asking themselves, why are they rushing to modify the constitution at this very hour, at the eve of Easter? Was there something coming up faster? And just exactly 1 month after, you had this man who was impatient and went to CRTV with a folded envelope carrying the name of the vice president and a supposed list of cabinet reshufflement. And that's why I said the guy whose name is known as Fako is the whole allegation in the whole story. And you understand, they told us back then that he has been caught and brought to book that he was at the National Secretariat for Defense, what they call SET. There was no image, there was no official document showing his detention, neither his arrest. And so we start questioning ourselves. This narrative is coming from people who could not read the contents of the list of the cabinet reshufflement, the supposed cabinet reshufflement that he brought, but could expose that of the vice president. It did not end there. Weeks after, we had Baboke.
Yes, we'll get to the
Baboke situation.
Now,
so stay with the individual. The process throughout, I want to remind you that it is from Paris, from Radio France Internationale in Paris, that a Cameroonian who works there alerts the nation that there has been an infiltrated document that came to CRTV and was not read. And since he made the allegation from Paris, that is when now CRTV reacted and we started seeing the footage of the young man. It means that if Paris did not alert the nation of what has transpired, CRTV will have never mentioned about the case. So you understand why I say there is nothing that guarantees us that Sitcom is now at the maximum security prison at Konengi, because he has never really been portrayed as an individual who is carrying a felony or a misdemeanor case against the state. But if you see the charges that are now allegedly placed under him, you will see that he's under a felony case. You will see that he's been accused of conniving with international forces to attack the state of Cameroon. So they are bringing it now as an insecurity, as a security case.
Yes,
Meanwhile,
that brings me to, you've mentioned an important thing. If the alleged appointment of a vice president was contained in a fake document, the question I would like to know, I believe our viewers are interested, they want to know is, what does this tell us about the security of presidential documents in Cameroon and the institutions that are supposed to authenticate it, given that you also mentioned that this CRTV received the document, nothing was ever said, and it has to come from somebody who was even out of the country. So tell us about the security situation of documents and many other things surrounding this affair.
I will still take you back to 2021 with the very actor, the Deputy Director of the Civil Cabinet at the Presidency of the Republic, Usvald Baboki. He wrote an elaborate post on Facebook. It is still present on his page. Those who are chance can visit and they will read, where he was already decrying the fact that there is power tussle at the helm of the government. There are people within the governing apparatus whose job is specifically to take pictures of secret documents and put online to create parallel line of authority, to weaken the hierarchical and vertical governing principle. So they have created a parallel system where two documents will always appear and weaken the power, the authority. And that is why it's not the first case that CRTV is rejecting an appointment. We remember in the days of former Speaker of the National Assembly, Kavayege Jibril, whose Director of Cabinet had to be sacked and reappointed, and all the board documents were read over the national station, and finally the same person stayed in place. He said he's not going anywhere, and he went nowhere.
Okay, that is quite interesting. You've mentioned Oswald Baboke. And we now have that this Setcom guy has, the institution has actually linked to him, and there is now what we call the Baboke affair. What concrete evidence do we have against him? Or should the public be cautious about drawing conclusion that he is part of this?
Before I impede on the Baboke's case, is going to be a little bit elaborate. I want to round up the first part of your question that was talking about the security of our documents, administrative document per se. What are the mechanisms to recognize an authentic document? Well, other countries, they have developed and trusted technology. Companies, organizations have emails. Through emails, you can easily send a document. You don't need to send somebody handy to carry the document to a particular station. And we have the post. Our Cameroon mailing service is still existing. They sometimes perform that duty for state, interstate affairs. So to see an individual take upon himself to present himself to the CRTV main house, one would have questioned himself, is that how it always go? And the answer is no. So this case, that's why I'm saying that this case all throughout is a cook case to distract Cameroonians. The relevance of it does not really exist. Once I've established that, I should be able to tell you that the system recognizes its process. For now, they have preferred manual processes. So the mailing system of Cameroon transport document from the presidency to they send it to the email system. That is how they have been following it throughout. So when an individual take upon himself, it is not recognized. Once I've said that, I want to enter the second part of your question about Baboke. Usman Baboke happened to be the deputy director of the civil cabinet at the presidency of the republic. He's a young man. He has made so many public appearances with Samuel Eto'o, and it draws us back to the Fako saga that we have lived for the past 2 to 3 years. And seeing such power tussle with the recent outing of Captain Efudu, one will start telling himself with much more certainty that President Paul Biya since 2019 has not really been the person decided for Cameroon. And the epitome of this statement found its relevance when Cameroonians were decrying fund embezzlement, state funds embezzlement concerning the Olembe Stadium, the stadium that was baptized President Paul Biya Stadium in Yaoundé, which is still unfinished. They have not seen the 5-star hotel pool that was announced. So, and we saw Ferdinand Gongo, who is Secretary General, Minister of State, Secretary General at the Presidency of the Republic, award personnel that were in charge of constructing this stadium and taking care of the COVID-19 most decried embezzles of funds. So at that very moment, we told ourselves that if this recognition can be made to these people, it means that the person who is supposed to censor investment, who is supposed to censor corruption, is not more fully functional. So those were little evidence that we had before now to establish that there might be power tussle. When we hear about the high instruction of the head of the state, it was mostly orchestrated by individuals who have the privilege to surround the president of the republic. So that is the backdrop of who we have today as Oswald Baboki, who is at the center of this controversy around the nomination of the vice president. Why did people or the national opinion largely attributed the letter, the fake document to Oswald Baboki? Because of the role he played in the Fako saga. We saw Samuel Eto'o giving a document to his minister, the Minister of Sport and Physical Education, telling that is a high instruction coming from the President of the Republic. Never in the history of governance in Cameroon have we ever seen the President of a federation giving an instruction to the hierarchy, who is the Minister of Sport. So such kudos, such courage will only come because of the backdrop he was receiving from the presidency of the republic. And the person he is much closer to at the presidency of the republic, of course, is the deputy director at the civil cabinet, Usman Baboke. So that is how people could establish a clanic battle at the hem of power. One guided by the Baboke's clan, and the other led by the Ngongo clan. And the Baboke clan came equally within a context where gold were reported embezzled. 44 ton reported by the commercial agents in Dubai against some, I think, 1.4 ton declared by the Cameroon government. And so the disparity created an animals feeling on Cameroonians. They started questioning themselves about gold. Then they saw the luxurious mansion of Usva Baboke, the lifestyle of his children in Dubai, and equally the kind of Lambolan life that the wife, for example, the car she drove for the 20th May Pass Boulevard in Yaoundé. All those little details now were now assembled to show that with his normal salary and even the sovereign's grants that comes like bonuses every 3 months that the state have put in place for top ranking officials, they said that even with all that money, it couldn't give him the kind of lifestyle he was living. And so people put all those things together to say, okay, because of X, because of Y, because of Z, this man could be behind such document. So that is how the Usva Baboke finger pointing originated.
Thank you for that elaborate explanation and analysis. Please, if you are joining us, thank you. With the Cameroon Wahala, and today we're discussing the current issues. Please like, share, and also comment. We'll be happy to hear your perspective on these issues. Now, before we move to the next current issue in Cameroon, I would like you to tell us a little bit about the need for a vice president, where we have the prime minister who used to seemingly occupy this position, and the future of Cameroon with a vice president and a prime minister, or are they going to remove the prime minister position? I just a curious, like anybody on the street. So
wow, I want to say that your question is very pregnant. First of all, you may like to accept with me that the debate on the relevance of the vice president is overdone, is overdue, because the bill has been passed into law already. So we cannot change that. It's already established. So whether relevant or not, it is there. Now, what really, the pertinent part of your question, of course, is a picture or an environment where the vice president is appointed and there is a prime minister. Now, the constitution kind of give them equal rights and give more relevance to the vice president than the prime minister. And for me, we are already living that already, just that it has not been made formal. Ferdinand Gongo is actually the one ruling the country for now. We call that.
Is that not an overstatement?
Yeah, we can call that an alleged statement. But the truth is that
allegedly.
Yes, the truth is that the prime minister John Gute called himself a diplomat and so many other things. But he's a soft mind. He's somebody that can toast. And they mostly appoint people in that position that they can easily toast from. I don't want to deny the charisma of Peter Mafani Musonge or Ephraim Enonim, Philemon Yang, and now John Gute. No, I just want to establish that if these guys had the kind of charisma of somebody like Paul Atanga G, I think sometime we will have had some friction at that level. So this Minister of State, Secretary General of the Presidency, Ferdinand Gongo, performing the duty of a vice president as this SG, was creating some kind of distortion in people's mind, especially people who are versed with administration. They reduced the position of the prime minister to inaugurating classroom at Ebogo or go to a new bridge that they have just constructed in Marua. That is what he was performing, or running for peace visit in the southwest or in the northwest. That is practically what they reduced the position of the prime minister to. Meanwhile, the 1996 revised constitution gave the prime minister the latitude to actually execute, to actually implement the vision of the president of the republic. So the role that the SG is actually playing was supposed to be played by the prime minister. That is before the modification of the constitution that took place, I think it was the 30th to the 31st of March 2026. And so, since that date, what the prime minister is today doing now reflects what they had wished him to be doing, and sit quiet on things that really matter. All this appointment, they are now saying that is the president of the republic. I can tell you with much clarity, having followed state things for the past 5 years, that Bobia cannot be in Geneva or wherever he is in Switzerland and signing document in Cameroon. It's not possible. He's not the one. It's Ferdinand Gongo who is signing them. And we can see Even disparity in the signature. Someone are curved left, some are curved right, and we tell ourselves that if truly it was the same person signing those documents, it will not have those disparities so visible in human eyes.
Don't you think that that just makes it more human signature than the auto pen that we have?
Of course. Of course. Those who don't want to adapt with technology always find way to discard anything that can look formal and professional.
Okay, we're now moving on to
Cameroon is not a private business. You might want us to jump in, but I really want to emphasize there to say that Cameroon is not a private business. And so no business partner
we have so many
will continue doing business with you if you cannot recognize your signature. And so signature is a brand. It's not a joking tool.
Allegedly, different people are signing.
Okay.
Yes. So we're moving to the next story now, which is with respect to Akeremu.
Okay.
He has been one of those who has been at the forefront of the political landscape of Cameroon. He's a well-known name, and he has raised some questions about the president's prolonged absence, which is also a viral topic on most social media platforms and discussions. And the question is this a fundamental question of the president's health, his fiscal absence and constitutional incapacity or incapability, or just that the system has been designed to function without really, that the president has been so savvy that he has set the system to run and run freely? Some people are even allegedly saying that it's a kind of autopilot system, which means everything has been set and Cameroon is functioning at top level. There's no evidence that the president is not there for more than expected.
Right. You should know that Cameroonians are in majority, in quote, cowards.
No, I won't agree with you.
Thank God
I'm a Cameroonian.
Thank God I put in quote. Now you will have to unquote it so that it fits your interpretation. But what do I mean? We want to solve our existential problem with prayers and witch hunting. Never in the story of humanity have a people decided to wish for the death of another human being for their own pleasure. Never in the story of humanity have we witnessed such cowardice lifestyle. And that is why I said in quotes, all the noise we are hearing about the absence of the president of the head of state is just because we want to validate our hypothesis in our heads. Is he dead? Is he still alive? Because if tomorrow they say that the president of the republic is at the Yaoundé Simalen airport, Cameroonians will be watching the live session to be sure to touch. Not that they really want him back. So the real question we should be asking ourselves, are we not ashamed of ourselves? How did we reach there?
Let me ask a question. We previously published who wants beer back in Cameroon.
That is true.
And the point you are making is, I think that Cameroonians, I'll say this with confidence, that they want him.
There are three kinds of Cameroonian ones.
Wait. They want him alive. They want him as a president. I have evidence. Real day celebration, always. And any event that comes up, we see a lot of Cameroonians trooping to support the president and his party and political ideology. So there is no evidence that you say that majority of Cameroonians want him.
It was in quotes.
Yes, that majority don't want him, or they want him. They don't want him back because there is massive support we see in elections. Because I don't want to assume issues. The way I always look at this is that evidence is more important than what we are speculating.
True.
So if you see Cameroonians in support and want and available, then obviously they want him. Even though some may say no, we just want a change. So what is your take with respect to who wants him back in Cameroon?
Right. You help us to rewind our tape to take you back to, if you go to the channel you search, you are going to see three kinds of Cameroonian who wants the president back. First, his close collaborators. They cannot exist without him. So, you go back to that particular content, you will see it. The first, his close collaborators, they cannot exist without him. You want to see when they had to go to deposit President Paul Biya candidacy at Electoral. It could tell you that these people cannot exist without the figure. Look at it as a movie. Think of an actor who is playing a very important role. That is what the President of the Republic, Paul Biya, represents to his close collaborators. And so they cannot exist without him. They are the highest people who want him back. Not all of them. Those who are actually benefiting from his attention. Because for some, they are so indifferent. The second category of people who want him back, of course, his family members. See how an entire family lives on a name. And they have been doing so for more than 43 years. You understand that their interests, and when I say family members, and family of his friends, their entire segment of the society that is managed by family. I want to take the case of the National Hydrocarbon Corporation, where Nathalie Mudiki, the wife of Adolf Mudiki, have been ruling since 3 years. Meanwhile, she entered the company as a counsel, meaning a director in charge of advising the general manager. By the end of the day, she's the one taking major decision and ruling budget. The third category and not the list of people who want Paul Biya back are local administrators who are benefiting from the nature of the country. They can embezzle, they can ship free, they can corrupt their way. In short, they are having a position where they are taking advantage of the system. Just as we have heard still in the channel, Captain Efuda telling us about the Anglophone crisis and those who are feeding from the nature of the crisis. So those are the three categories of people who want President Paul Biya back. If not, but these three people are not the one on social media. And that's where the paradox is. That's why I tell you that those on social media are cowardice. And they are the one making the greatest noise. They refuse to defend their election on October the 12th. These are the same people. Some chose exile, some chose to stay in their house, some keep bragging that they want to see their children grow up. And how do you think a generation that has betrayed his own mission can actually know peace? There is no peace for a cowardice.
I want to push back on that, but
all they have to do is to live as long as possible to taste misery, because brave people are in prison. That's why I started this video by telling you this might be my last video. After this, I might be going to prison or I might be dying. But I would have told you what matter to push forward the country is not to stay and be praying that somebody should die. There's no part of our Father in heaven where they mention that somebody should die before you should know happiness. It doesn't exist. It is a human being like you who has worked himself to be ruling the country for 43 years. And the normal question you should be asking yourself, if a human being who even went to the seminary could direct a country for 43 years, what are you doing?
So, we are running out of time, and I want to, before we end this session for today, I want us to come to Fako.
Right.
Yes, this is our best, and the CPDM party is reportedly demanding an imperative landslide or landslide victory. What makes Fako a strategically important position for the ruling party? Why are they so much interested that at any time they always want to carry a victory in Fako? And what does this tell us about the opposition party? That they're also in Fako, and for many years now, their activity seems to have not been able to garner the expected enthusiasm of the grassroots or the people who want change to come out in masses and vote for a new political party.
Right. I want to contextualize what is happening. Nalova Lyonga on the 8th of August gathered at the Boya Council Hall with top-ranking political leaders of the ruling party, the CPTM. And what caught our attention was the theme under which they were gathering. The talk of an imperative, a narrative of an imperative victory. And they went on the subtitle. They did mention about the means, the proceedings, and the actions. Are you getting?
Yes.
So the context is post 2025 presidential election, where the FSNC of Issa Chiroma Bakare won for the first of his time in Fako, despite all the frauds that the CPTM did. They still proclaim Issa Chiroma, who won here. I think it was about around 65%. So Fako, as we talk, it is in the hand of the opposition. Because in your question, you said over the years, the opposition have never really glamored the enthusiasm, the grassroots people.
Well, that is at a presidential level, and
Right.
we are talking about municipal elections that are coming up and others, local level elections. So our interest here is, if you look at the local ruling, I don't think that the opposition is in place.
Right. And so, don't also forget that the current local authorities have all, their mandate has all been expired. They are now living on a makeshift mandate accorded to them by President Pobia, who only won by attributes from the Constitutional Council. So when we put all this together, you understand that Fako is living a moment where it needs to reconcile with itself. The most division is from the CPTM itself, not even with the opposition inclusive. The hall in which Minister Nanova Nyonga was talking was an empty hall. The hall was not full to capacity. We have been seeing them gathering but at the Boya Mountain Hotel. But this time around, they were gathering at the Boya Council Hall. When you put all these things together, you have only one picture: panic. And that's why they have to build a narrative. It did not start from the divisional permanent delegation. Nanova was just performing a function. On July the 22nd, the CPTM Secretary General Jean Kouyaté was the initiator of this seminar and gave them high instruction to go in their local constituency and pass over the message. So Nanova Nyonga was just relaying the message of Jean Kouyaté, which is to build a narrative to make people think that since CPTM have been winning, and that is almost what you did in your question. You get a generalization that they have been winning. They are the one occupying the seats, without even mentioning whether the seats are legally or legitimately occupied by them.
Well, as a
and that is how they build narrative.
That is as a realist.
Yes, that is what I'm saying. That is how they build narrative.
Now,
you know,
you are alleged, because I still believe that when you say it is legal or illegal, we have Cameroon has rules and regulation. And if you go by that principle, only the person who has been duly elected or appointed occupies a position. And so on that, that is what I'm basing. I'm not trying to recreate the reality. I'm looking at facts, not allegations, not assumptions, not wishes, not hopes. So that's, I think that I will say confidently that they are in charge of the administration of the council or the municipality or the whole Fako.
I will not come back on the fact that the mandate has been expired.
Well, the constitution gives the power to the president to do an extension, and the vote thing, I think registration is allegedly or be ending on the 31st.
The same president who has been out now for 3 months and going to 3 months. So let's come back to serious things to say that the context is one of panic and of consciousness as well.
Is it not just realignment?
The facts? No, they are coming to terms with the reality. They are beginning to see that if we change our methods, we are finished. So more violence, more rigging, more collaboration with state independent apparatus like Electoral, the Constitutional Council, the other people who are engaged in the process. So, but the assurance I can give you, even though you pointed the opposition to be weak, is that Chiroma had no brother in the Northwest and the Southwest. Chiroma did not even have a divisional federation or even a subdivisional federation anywhere in the northwest and the southwest. But they won. They won election clean and clear. What does this tell you? That when the people decide to come out in their number to vote and send the message to their brother in the house to go and vote, they make the job easy. And the CPGM is aware of this. And that's why they are already telling you that as a journalist, while posing the question, make them look as if they were strong. They are not strong. And they know it. They are not strong. They are weak.
I think that it has been an interesting discussion. Our viewers are excited, but our time is running out. So there are so many stories that we have not covered. Which one story? I'm giving you the latitude to choose any story that you want to analyze for our viewers and say take this one while waiting for the next episode. It will be coming up either later in the day or tomorrow.
Of course, Captain Efudu, who for some days now has been feeding us with secret stories at the presidency of the republic, will soon be coming out again for another outing. I'll be breaking the news with you soon. So stay glued to the channel. Don't even leave it an inch. In short, just go back to the belt and click on it so that each time we upload something, it rings on your phone. And so that is the news, the hotcake news I wanted to leave with you before we meet again.
Okay, thank you. It has been exciting. And for our viewers, thank you for being there. We would like you to like, share, subscribe, and most importantly, click the notification button so that when we come live, you'll be part of the discussion. Ask your questions so that our analysts will be able to respond to them. And until then, see you tomorrow.